This is Paul. I'm looking at all the different types of work that self-defense. I'm working on myself today, and it says that there's a process of defending oneself or one's property from an attack by another. Self-defense is an inherent right. But if the assailant is injured or killed in the act of self-defense, proof must be offered that the violence did come about only because it was necessary to save one's own life. Self-defense. I've often informed law enforcement that my rights are violated, that my sons are missing and abused, and as a father, when you violated my constitutional right to due process in 2011, I have the right to self-defense. Let's say I know I'm being tortured, well, almost every day. I'm having to live someplace that's nice, but it's not my own house. Pooch. I'm having to live without what I know is the security that I would want to pay for. Now, when you know that you have the actual assets to afford your own personal security, my own personal bodyguards, it makes me wonder, well, how many other people have their own personal security? I did some research a while back, and it seemed like one of Britney Spears is, Britney Spears, the singer. Yes, she had gotten employed a person from private a security firm where they were a private contractor. Yes. And I thought, you know what, the guy's really trying to screw her out of some money, so I decided to look into all these private security firms. Yeah. Now, I've got what's called money and mean. Money is usually a very attractive woman that does all their surveillance work. They oftentimes like to be on somebody. And I've said, well, I'm going to need 400 monies in my private security firm. Poochoo! Then I'm going to need 400 means. Now, a mean is usually a man that's very big, about 6'4" to 7 feet tall, 250 to 350 pounds. And when they find out that anybody touches me or my family, they are the meanest. Now, when I have to say the word security as a self-defense because my constitutional rights are being violated, I'm being obstructed from suing those that are sworn oaths of office, and I'm not being allowed to innovate my innovations. It could be that somebody thought, well, he doesn't have any security. We can do whatever we want to him. The guy's homeless. We can just torture him and break his teeth, and we can use all kinds of technology to cause him all kinds of pain and suffering. Poo-pooch. Now, I made absolutely sure that when I understood about desalinators and wobbler electric motors and all these different innovations that I've innovated and documented, when you think of yourself as a trillionaire, it's not difficult to employ 800 persons in my own private security firm. Now, somebody's been treating a homeless man, myself, as if I did not understand what I am worth. Now, I set up Money and Mean as a private security for those that I love because there are a lot of women that wanted to volunteer, and when money shows up, well, she's one of these types that just knows if anybody's trying to mess with any woman that I might want to have a baby with. And then after Money gets upset, she calls Mean, and some guy about 6'6" and 300 pounds shows up and says, "You touch any woman that I love, I will beat the motherfucker. Get out!" Now, I know in private security, self-defense is very important to those that are employed in private security. Usually you got to have some sort of license. Now, if I could just get every person that's been employed in private security everywhere in the world for the last, 25 years, I'd like to know every person that could afford their own private security. Now, there might be a few billionaires that said, well, I've got to have somebody around me to make sure nobody talks to me because I don't want to talk to anybody. And private security can be used to sew into so that, oh, how are you today? Now, I know. I was expecting an email, but I didn't get an email, and I thought, well, why don't I just make sure you understand how money and mean works? Every person in my employment gets $5 million in a personal bank account. And they get $200,000 a year. Now, the thought was, well, let me set you up so you don't have to worry about retirement. And if I die, you can keep all the leftover money. I might die in a year or 2 years or 3 years. Somebody might knock me off. Now, let's say I've got 800 persons at $5 million. That would be 40. 40. That'd be $400 million. Is that right? 8 times 5 is $40 million. Times another 0. $4 billion in private security, all in separate bank accounts. Is my math right? I don't know. I'm going to have to get a calculator. Now, I do this so that nobody can tempt them to want to kill me. Kill! Now, as I said, they each get $200,000 a year. 10 years worth of income, that's $2 million. 20 years worth of income, that's $4 million. 25 years worth of guaranteed income to make sure that myself and those that I love that volunteer to give me babies never have any problems. Now, money's the surveillance and usually very attractive. Smart intelligence. And mean doesn't look that good usually. A lot of these private security, they do that karate or kung fu or whatever they do. Yes. I just want them so mean. I designed mean to have a special pinky ring that I turn the diamond upside down. Yes. So that the sharp end goes out the pinky ring. And then if anybody touches any woman that I love that has volunteered to give me any baby, I suggest they scar their face. Now, I don't know who's trying to interfere with my volunteers, but when I have said, you want to give me a baby and I'm paying $50,000 a year in child support, $800,000 over 18 years. No, it's $900,000. It's almost $1 million to get in 18 years. No, $900,000. You can understand why I'd want to make sure of my security for all of those that volunteer to give me babies. Now, I want to make sure of my self-defense today.